Greetings everyone, and welcome to part 2 of Genesis of a Hero. Today's issue will focus on Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and like last time, it'll start around the end of the game. I'm not doing a recap because what's the point? The end of the previous issue, while it implies that they're about to start the events of Sonic 2, don't directly connect to what you're about to see. You're witnessing Sonic and Tails going through Sky Chase Zone. Sonic showing off against enemies and Tails catching him provides a realistic approach to the tornado as a solid platform gimmick from the game. They reach Wing Fortress, which begins firing on them. Sonic makes it on board just as a blast clips one of the tornado's wings. In a very interesting moment, Sonic tells Tails to abandon the plane. The orange guy can fly after all. But Tails insists on fixing it even as he disappears among the clouds. Naturally, this makes Sonic angry, so he charges through the airship. Though he should have looked before leaping in one case. He recovers and makes his way to the bridge, where that toady Snively awaits. He springs another force field on Sonic. Unlike Scrap Brain, where Eggman tried to drown Sonic, Snively plans to dice and fry him. Sonic can easily dodge the dicey machines. The laser, on the other hand, is no joke. Until it runs out of power. Sonic smashes it and calls it a boss. Snively retreats and the force field deactivates. Sonic smashes the controls before chasing Big Nose. But it's too late, Snively takes off in a rocket, leaving Sonic on the falling airship. Cue Tails in the repaired tornado. They try to catch up, but the thrusters start to give out. They get close enough for Sonic to grab the bottom of the fin. Sonic, you're entering the vacuum of space. You're supposed to exhale the air from your lungs if you're going to survive, not hold your breath. Snively contacts Eggman to update him on the situation. Eggman angrily informs Snively he's bringing Sonic aboard the Death Egg. But Eggman has something prepared for the Hedgehog. And we get a good look at the Death Egg. All Sonic can think about, besides what it does, is how to break it. Once inside, Sonic takes it easy for a bit, even taking in the scenic space view. But we must get to the inevitable fight. Sonic versus a giant metal version of himself. It's pretty powerful, but that's all it has going for it. The armor covering the robot is weighing it down. Sonic takes advantage of his, advantage and smashes the robot to pieces, with the bonus of revealing an opening directly to Eggman and Snively. Nice try, Eggy. Perhaps next time you decide to build a Sonic made of metal, you should shrink it to roughly Sonic's size. And focus more on speed. And for added mockery, why don't you paint it blue? Eggman and Snively run from Sonic, which Sonic calls them out on. Eggman could prove Sonic wrong by running faster than him like in the other Sonic works, or he could cheat and toss Snively at Sonic, giving him time to reach the Death Egg robot. And the issue ends with the two about to fight it out. Wait, that can't be right. The issue can't end here. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. My comments are going to be very mixed for this one. Let's tackle the good stuff first. The character writing and dialogue is enjoyable, with that brief scene of Sonic showing concern for Tails here being my favorite. What helped is the facial expressions. In fact, the art's nice overall. Sure, like last time it's simple, perhaps a bit cartoony at times, but that's the point. The details of the Death Egg and the Death Egg robot look phenomenal, by the way. To switch gears for a bit, this is the comic's second take on Sonic the Hedgehog 2. The first adaptation was the second half of Sonic Genesis. Again, old continuity versus new continuity. The way the two differ is clever from a meta perspective. In this version, we see Sky Chase, Wing Fortress, and the fight with Silver Sonic, or to go by its proper name, Mecha Sonic. The Sonic Genesis version had Sonic and Tails outright skip Sky Chase and Wing Fortress and head straight for the rocket. And once Sonic's on board the battle station, it's straight to the Death Egg robot fight. Speaking of, the designs of both it and the Death Egg differ between the two adaptations, again to avoid repetition. The Sonic Genesis version featured the Death Egg design currently used in the comics. There's a story reason for it which I will not get into here. And the Death Egg robot is the classic Sonic the Hedgehog 2 version. The Death Egg and the robot in this adaptation are straight out of Sonic Generations. The only thing the two adaptations have in common is Sonic grabbing the rocket and traveling through space. I've been putting this off for a bit, so I might as well tackle it now. Structurally, this entire arc is a mess. As I said last issue, these are partial adaptations, and I was lenient on that one because it showed stuff beyond the game material. But this issue, nothing but a game adaptation. In fact, you can replace Snively with Robotnik and the issue would more or less be the same. Not even the Freedom Fighters show up in this issue, though they might have done things from behind the scenes while Sonic and Tails go through the level proper. What really disappoints me is this message on the last page. Play Sonic 2 to find out what happens next. 1. I mentioned earlier that this is the Sonic Generations version of the boss, and it has different attack methods than the classic variant, so that's an oopsie. And 2, I'm reminded of this. Years ago when new games came out, the main comics would dedicate 5 pages to advertising said games, usually retelling the opening cutscenes and the like. A number of them are also non-canon, hence the Another Time, Another Place caption. Issue 289 is a 20-page version of this, and it's canon to the comic. Admittedly, the Sonic comics in general are an advertisement to Sega's Blue Mascot and his friends, but even then the comics take the time to put these characters in new and interesting situations. The Chaotix in the current Sonic Universe arc is a good example of this. Genesis of a Hero is made to celebrate Sonic's 25th anniversary. That's fine and dandy, but in my opinion, there's better Sonic comics that celebrate the anniversary, namely the Sonic Mega Drive Miniseries. This arc to me is a Frankensteining of different hypothetical arcs. The first issue could have been the final part of a Sonic 1 adaptation, and this issue could have been a part 3 of a Sonic 2 adaptation. When I get to the other 2 issues, I can speculate their placement in what-if arcs. More than likely, it was Sega's decision to do it like this. Plus again, we just finished a long game adaptation. We're all starting to feel that adaptation fatigue. I should probably halt my rambling here because I usually save this stuff for the end of an arc, but I had to get it off my chest. My final score for this issue is a 4. A little harsh despite the positives I gave it earlier, but it's the structure that really hurts it. Maybe if they did an aftermath like the last issue, it would have been a little higher. And we're only halfway done through this arc. Next time, we're heading into Sonic CD territory. We'll see how that turns out. Until then, have a good day and be safe. Despite Sonic on the verge of suffocation, he still finds time to break the fourth wall.